Hello, welcome to my first impressions, part 7, where we're going to go over artifacts. Artifacts should be important for this set. First of all, it just seems like design philosophy for limited sets lately has evolved. Artifacts really telling us how easy it's going to be to splash, and can this be a 3-color set, 4-color set? Do you need to stick to 2 colors? And also, I would think for just what we've seen with the themes and the style of the set, that artifacts are going to be very important. So white seems more white and blue in particular. I'd say blue first, followed by white. Seems to be the artifacts colors. And now that I think about it, when we look through multicolor, how many blue-white spells do we see? I can only think of one. I mean, look at this. There is one blue-white spell. I think there was only one black-green, so it's not the only one that's underrepresented, but I think that, oh no, there's another black-green here. So that tells us something. There was only one blue-white multicolored spell out of all of the color combinations and all the multicolor spells. So that leads me to believe that blue-white should be helped out by these artifacts more than anyone. So gotta kind of keep that in mind while we go through them. All right, first up, Buried Treasure. Cost 2, artifact treasure. Tap, sacrifice Buried Treasure, add 1 mana of any color. Sacrificing helps with Descend. Exile Buried Treasure from your graveyard, discover 5. Non-land card. Wow. This seems pretty good, actually. At first, whenever I saw the sacrifice, I was like, okay, that helps with Descend, but there isn't a ton of other sacrifice energy. Wow, I think Buried Treasure is good. Discover 5 seems really good. I mean, I guess, yeah, you could discover 5 and then you get another Buried Treasure or a 1-cost card, and it's really not that amazing. But with all the synergies here, Descend helps black, green, and blue. The artifact thing helps red, blue, and white with their synergies. Discover 5 can really end up being great if you put a 5-cast cost there. I think Buried Treasure is pretty darn good. I think it's kind of on par with Prismatic. What was it? Prismatic Shard, Prismatic something. The 2-cost comes into play, draw a card to fixer in Wilds of Eldraine. I forget the name right now, but seems like kind of this is that equivalent, and that was like you always wanted at least one in your deck because it synergized with Bargain and fixes your mana. It was like an auto include in no matter what your decks were, and if you were trying to go for 3 colors or splash into heaven forbid 4, you definitely needed 1 and might even want 2. And this, though, is a fixer, but also could potentially, I mean, it fixes you, and then let's say you still are not, you haven't solved your mana problems by turn 5. This still gets you something, if you're still in trouble. So it kind of fixes you twice in a way, or it can fix you twice, even though you sacrifice it the first time. I think Buried Treasure is pretty good. I think it's like a B minus, and I think I think this is one of those cards that people underestimate the first couple weeks, and you'll get away with getting this much later than you should. And then people will understand how good it really can be, and people will start drafting it more to where it should be. And it's a common, so you'll see it a lot. I think Buried Treasure is like a B minus. I know that's a bold move for a card like this to call it a B minus, but I think it's a B minus. It might even be a B if you're really going crazy, like 4 colors. Then it's up to a B. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. Creating Minecart. 3, cost 3, artifact, vehicle. Whenever creating minecart attacks, create a treasure token. Crew 1. All the crews have been pretty low for the vehicles here. I don't think there's like a vehicle. I don't think there's like a vehicle color necessarily, but white definitely wants artifacts with all the things that it does. So this is probably more of a white and a blue card. Crew 1 is fine. You've got a lot of 1/1 flyers that works well with this. Yeah, artifact feels like the multicolor for white and blue already. Create a treasure token. And treasure token helps fix you. All right, so this might be a 3-color set, I'm starting to think. I mean, they got the red, green, white. I don't know why they didn't have any other 3-color multicolor cards other than red, green, white. But this is feeling like it's not a hard set to do 3 colors in. I give creating my cart a. If you're blue white, I give it a C plus. If you are not blue white, I give it a C. Cartographer's Companion costs 3. When Cartographer's Companion enters the battlefield, create a map token. 2/1. I'm less impressed with this one and the other two. I just give this a C minus. 2/1 for 3 is not very good. Putting 2 artifacts into play, like blue white. Again, this is where you want it, but so putting 2 artifacts into play is okay for your artifact strategies, like in blue white, but it's kind of a C minus. I'm sure there are better artifacts to put in your deck at 3. Jamil the Inner Sun, 6 cost mythic, legendary artifact. Spells you control can't be countered. At the beginning of your end step, discover 5. Ooh. I think this is very good. I mean, they could just kill it. The spells that can't be countered really doesn't matter. Yes, there are some counter spells in blue, but you can't reliably trust that you're going to be going up against counter spells often in limited. So, but at the beginning of it ends up, so you at least get to discover 5 unless they kill it outright. There is a lot of artifact hate in this set, but you know the opportunity cost is really good in that it just costs you 6. You don't have to worry about the color. Taking it really fits into any deck. I mean, any deck wants to discover every turn. So I think Chamil the Inner Sun is a 5. I'm sorry, is an A. The only reason it's not an A plus is it does cost 6. It comes down late. They need instant removal to stop you from discovering at least once, but Discover 5s will find a lot of stuff in your deck. Okay, yeah, I give it an A. Compass Gnome costs 2, 2/1. When Compass Gnome enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land card or cave card. That's interesting. Again, though, not a lot of caves. Reveal it, then shuffle and put that card on top. On top. That's sad. But it's a fixer. 2/1, not bad for a fixer artifact. I give this B, or I give it a. You may search your library, so that's good too. I give it a B minus, maybe a C plus, but good fixer. Contested Game Ball, that's cool. Cost 2. Whenever you're dealt combat damage, the attacking player gains control of Contested Game Ball and untaps it. Whenever you're dealt combat damage, the attacking player gains control of Contested Game Ball and untaps it. Pay 2. Tap, draw a card, and put a point counter on Contested Game Ball. Then if it has 5 or more point counters on it, sacrifice it and create a treasure token. Okay, so you can draw 5 cards with it in total, but it's going to go back and forth with combat damage. Whenever you're dealt combat damage, the attacking player gains control. I mean, this is bad. You don't play this. I mean, you don't want to play cards that potentially gives your opponent value. I mean, if this was the only reason you would ever play this is if this was a set full of dangerous cards that can give your opponent value. But this is literally the first card of all the cards we've seen in this set where your opponent might get more out of it than you do, and that I'm going to give this an F. Yeah, I'm going to be that harsh. You don't want this at all. I mean, at worst, at like the floor for this is you wait and turn. Well, I mean, the floor for this is you pay it on turn 2 and then you lose it on turn 3 and you don't get anything out of it. That's really, really bad. But if at least you can wait till turn 4 and you draw 1 card. But then if you're on turn 4 drawing 1 card, not playing creatures on turn 4, and they can sneak in combat damage, you're in trouble. Yeah, contested game ball, really, really bad. F, do not draft this. Dig Site Conservator, 2. Artifact Gnome. Sacrifice Dig Site Conservator, exile up to 4 target cards from a single graveyard, activate only as a sorcery. When Dig Site Conservator dies, you may pay 4 if you do discover 4. A good card to have in your sideboard for best of 3. This set is really making me want to play best of 3 on Arena, not best of 1. Because, yeah, this is really bad for graveyard strategies and really good for you. But best of 1, it's a little bit harder to play this because it's not a guarantee that it's going to really get you the value that you need. So in a best of 1, this is like a blue-white card, sometimes makes the cut, but it's going to be around the 22, 23, 22nd or 23rd card you're putting in your deck. Disruptors Wanderglyph costs 4. Whenever Disruptors Wanderglyph, so the best 2 of 3, I give Dig Site Conservator a C, and best of 1, I give it a C minus. Disruptors Wanderglyph costs 4. Whenever Disruptors Wanderglyph attacks, exile target card from an opponent's graveyard. A lot of graveyard hate in the artifacts. That's nice. I think the set does need that to balance it. But this just goes to show, man, Descend is going to be so hard to get to. Descend 8 is going to be so hard to get to. I mean, the Dig Site Conservator alone, exiling 4 cards from your graveyard, that alone, if they exile 4 permanents, now you're looking at, you probably have to get about a third of your deck into the graveyard before you hit Descend 8. That's so hard. Yeah, I'm calling it now. The blue-black, black-green Descend. Maybe that's why the black cards are stronger on their own, because the Descend mechanic is going to be really tough, I think. Disruptor Wanderglyph, it's a C minus. 3/4 is a bad stat line. And doesn't do anything unless it attacks. Hoverstone Pilgrim costs 5. Flying, ward 2. Pay 2. Put target card from a graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. Interesting, especially with all the Descend. Maybe you actually play this in your Descend deck, just in case you mill yourself to death. Yeah, this is not a good card. It's like a C minus, or a D plus. But I guess it's flying. But okay, I'll give it a C minus, with the caveat that if you really draft a bitchin' powerful Descend deck, I would be okay with putting one of these in here just to kind of like defend yourself from mill. And also, if this ends up being a slow format and milling yourself ends up happening sometimes, that would be interesting that this card could go up a little bit. Hunter's Blowgun costs 1 artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Equipped creature has death touch as long as it's your turn. Otherwise, it has reach. Equip 2. I like this. I mean, I like the idea. Equipments just are not that strong. But blue-white, it is nice that you're able to use it for other synergies, like tapping to create tokens or tapping to create +1/+1 counters. So I might play 1 in a deck that needs lots of artifacts. Like I think there's the blue card too that that blue card that looks at the top 4 and you get an artifact. If you're trying to fill your deck with artifacts for that, I think one of these is okay because Death Touch is actually pretty good. And Reach helps protect you from flyers. So maybe one of these, but it's still pretty bad. So I give it like a C, maybe C minus. Matt Zalantili, the Great Door. Matt the Door. Let's call him Doormat. I'm calling it. The nickname for this is going to be Doormat. Pay 3 legendary artifact. Tap it to draw a card, then discard a card. Pay 4, transform the Doormat. Activate only if there are 4 more permanent type cards in your graveyard. So descend 4 and you can transform it. It becomes a legendary land. The Core sounds sick. Isn't that like I remember hearing the lore of this set? The Core is supposed to be like the thing everyone's trying to get to, right? It's like the core of the world or something like that. Sounds cool. So this better be very good. Fathomless Descent. Tap, add X mana of any color where X is the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. Okay. Yeah, this is a constructed card. This isn't meant for draft. I mean, the drawing card and discarding card is very good. It's good in any set because it helps you kind of craft your hand, and if you're having trouble fixing your mana, it can get you out of that. Late in the game, you're ditching your lands. It's especially good in this format with Descend. So I would still play it, but this is primarily supposed to be a constructed card, obviously. And I mean, it's not a lot of opportunity cost loss because it's just 3 colorless. But if you're playing it in limited, you're only playing it for this draw card and discard effect. You really don't care about this. We saw 1 X-Spell, pretty sure, for Murray. Maybe 2. No, 1 X-Spell. It was that green Merfolk. Yeah, so it's like a C, maybe a C plus, maybe a C. All it is like fixing the draw and discard. I mean, it is an artifact, so that helps with blue-white, but it's just a C. There are lots of commons and uncommons I would rather take over this. Roaming Throne costs 4. I'm going to look at this one because it's hard to read those. Artifact creature Golem. Rare. Ward 2 as Roaming Throne enters battlefield. Choose a creature type. Roaming Throne is the chosen type in addition to its other types. If a triggered ability of another creature you control of the chosen type triggers, it triggers an additional time. That's cool. Yeah, it's good. It's especially good. Wait, is this Breath of the Wild? Isn't this a Zelda bad guy? It's good. 4/4 for 4 is a fine stat line, especially when it's an artifact. It's got artifact synergy. White, I think, is a lot of the creatures that want to be doing these triggered ability, not an activated ability. It's fine. You still play it. I don't really know how many triggered abilities are in the set. I need to play it some to get an idea for that. I'm not going to add every single triggered ability up. If I was Purge, maybe I would, but Ward 2 is cool. It's good. I give it like a B plus. It's good. I'm happy to see this turn. I'm happy to see this pack 1 pick 1 because I take it and then I look at what the rest of the pack is color wise. What signals am I sending? And then for the rest of pack 1, I'm more flexible because I know this can just fit into anything. Runaway Boulder costs 6. Artifact Flash. When Runaway Boulder enters the battlefield, it deals 6 damage to target creature and opponent controls. Cycling 2. Oh, that's interesting. Cycling is even better because of Descend in this set. This is a common. So when after you deal the 6, it's just sitting there. It's sacrifice fodder. It's tapping for other things fodder. I think this is going to be better. People will see the 6 and that's not good, but the cycling can be helpful. I think this is better than it might first appear. I would give it like a B. I think it's fine. You don't want a ton of them, obviously, but I like 1 or 2. I think even 2 is okay, especially if you're struggling for removal. Like green did not have much removal. Blue's removal was bad. Red surprisingly did not have as much removal as I thought they would. Black and white are pretty stacked on removal, so maybe you wouldn't play this in those colors. But if you're getting close to the end of the draft and you realize you haven't gotten a lot of removal, I'm fine playing a Runaway Boulder. I give it a B. Scampering Surveyor. 6 is a lot, though. People are going to think I'm crazy for giving this a B. Well, no one watches the stream. But if people were to watch the stream, they might think I'm crazy for underestimating how much 6 is. And they might be right. Scampering Surveyor. Pay 4. Artifact creature gnome. When Scampering Surveyor enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land card or cave card, put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Very interesting, this cave thing. It's a fixer. 4 is way too late to help you fix, or it's way later than you want it to be, at least. It's like a C card. I would play it if I needed the fixing, but hopefully I have better fixing than this. Sorcerer's Spyglass costs 2. I think that Sorcerer's Spyglass, isn't that a reprint? Uncommon, as it enters the battlefield, look at an opponent's hand and choose any card name. I think I remember this card. Activate abilities and sources with the chosen name can't be activated abilities unless they're mana abilities. This is more of a constructed card. Again, great sideboard card. This is really a sideboard best 2 of 3 set, I really feel like. Sideboard, I want one. I don't think I'd main deck it. C-. Sunbirds, it's like useless, right? If it doesn't hit anything. So, D plus. I get a D. Sunbird Standard, cost 3. Tap, add 1 mana of any color, craft with 1 or more 5. Craft with 1 or more 5. Exile this artifacts. Add 1 or more other permanents you control. Enter cards or graveyard. Craft with 1 or more. Exile this artifact. Exile 1 or more other permanents. So it can be any permanent. That's nice. Which brings us, and this makes the pacifism in white even worse. All this craft, because you can use it as a craft target still. Turns into Sunbird Effigy. Flying, Vigilance, Haste. Haste is cool. Sunbird Effigy's power and toughness are each equal to the number of colors among the exiled cards used to craft it. Ew. For each color among the exiled cards used to craft Sunbird, add 1 mana of that color. Ew. 1 or more other permanents. So we've only seen like 2 or 3 permanents that had 3 colors, and that was mythics, maybe a rare. So at most you're getting 2 colors out of 1 permanent. So realistically, you can remove stuff from the graveyard. Each equal number of colors among the exiled cards used to craft it. So I don't know. It's probably pretty bad, but okay. So there's a lot going on here. Actually, the 3 add 1 mana of any color is actually good, or is nice for fixing. You'd rather it be 2, but 3 you live with. And the exiling, it's probably going to be a 2/2. right? If you're 2 colors, it's a 2/2. If you're 3 colors, it's a 3/3. Does this mean 5 color is a viable strategy to draft? I mean, you're not drafting 5 colors just for this card, but if there's enough reasons to want to go 5 colors anyways, that makes this card very good for that deck. So let's set it at a C. So C minus if you're 1 color, C if you're 2 colors, C plus if you're 3, B minus if you're 4, a B if you're 5. Sounds about right. I like it though. It's cool. It's got a lot going on. Much more fun than just a mana rock that just is a mana rock. Swashbuckler, yeah, like mana rock with a downside, which is usually what this stuff is. Swashbuckler's Whip costs 1 artifact equipment. There's a lot of equipment in this set. Equipped creature has reach 2, tap target artifact or creature, and 8 tap discover 10. So that gets anything in your deck. Equip 1. 8's quite a bit though. Reach is not that much. Tapping for only 2. Wait, yeah, 2 tap. Tapping for only 2 isn't too bad. Especially if this is a slow format, that slows it down even more. I think Swashbuckler's Whip is okay. Maybe 1 in a deck. I mean, you definitely don't want more than 1, but I don't know. It's probably bad. Equipments are usually bad. I give it like a B minus. No. I give it a C plus. Maybe a B minus. But you only want 1. Only 1 if you ever play it. Probably let me do it this way: B minus in blue white, C plus and everything else. Tarian's Soul Cleaver costs 1. Another equipment, legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature has vigilance. Whenever another artifact or creature is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on equipped creature. Equip 2. This is very interesting. Obviously, first thoughts are green white because there's a lot of +1/+1 counters in green white. So you want to synergize with that, and it benefits that. But this is good in sacrifice too, and black has a lot of interesting sacrifice. Green creates tokens. This is key: artifact or creature. So map tokens, treasure tokens, all of these give the equipped creature +1/+1. Okay, now we're cooking. I think Tarian Soul Cleaver is a minus, honestly, with everything going on in this set. It's A minus. Only costs 1. Artifact synergy, yeah, A minus, maybe an A. I'm gonna make a bold statement and say it's an A. I think that's pretty good. The Millennium Calendar costs 1 legendary artifact. Whenever you untap 1 or more permanents during your untap step, put that many time counters on the Millennium Calendar. So whenever you untap 1 or more permanents during your untap step. So keep in mind, you can just tap all your lands at the end of their turn. Just float it. No mana burn these days. Pay 2, tap, double the number of time counters on the Millennium Calendar. Interesting. When there are 1,000 or more time counters on the Millennium Calendar, sacrifice it, and each opponent loses 1,000 life. So silly. So silly. Let's work backwards to figure out. I mean, obviously this is a meme card. I don't think they actually intend anyone to play it. I'm not going to share my calendar on the screen, but I got a calendar up, or not calendar, a calculator. Let's see. So 1,000 divided by 2, that's 500 divided by 2 equals 250. So that's twice. divided by 2. 3 times is 125 divided by 2. 4 times is 62.5 divided by 2. 5 times is 31.25. That's not quite reasonable yet. Divided by 2. That's 15.625. So that's 6 times. If you can get this up to 16 counters, which I think is pretty reasonable. Well, 6. Let me just do it one more time. Divide by 2. 7.8. So 7 turns. So if you can get this up to 8 counters, which shouldn't be too hard to do, then you are 7 turns away from doubling it to win the game. 7 turns away from doubling it to win the game if you get 8 counters on it. That's a long time for them to find an answer, and they probably will find an answer. But I think people might underestimate how quickly doubling can add up. I don't think it's hard to get 8 counters on it, and then you're 7 turns away if you keep doubling every turn. Only costs 1. It can tap for itself. I mean, let's say we only do this, right? Okay, let's say we only do this. Can I use let me get a... I don't think the whiteboard's very easy to see behind me, but let's say we go turn 1, we play Millennium Calendar. We're going to tap the Millennium Calendar to get 1. Actually, let me do that higher. We're going to tap the Millennium Counter to get 1 time counter. Turn 2, we do nothing. We tap them. We play another land. We tap the Millennium Counter. We'll get 3 more. So turn 2, we've got 4. Next turn, we play a land. So we got 3 lands in the Millennium Calendar. So we go tap 2 of them to go up to 6, and then we multiply it by 2. So we tap 2 to go to 6, then we multiply by 2 to get to 12. So at the end of turn 3, we're at 12. And then turn 4, we can tap 2 lands and Millennium Counter to bring up to 15. Plus 3 equals 15 times 2. Oh wait, we have to tap the Millennium Counter. Oh, actually that changes things. So we have to tap the Millennium Counter. So I have to do this over again, don't I? We have to tap the Millennium Counter to double. Now I know this is kind of silly, but bear with me here. So we have to tap the Millennium Counter to double. So we start, play Millennium Counter, we tap it, we got 1 after turn 1. Then we got 2 lands. We're not going to double, we're just going to tap them all. So plus 3, which brings us to 4 time counters on turn 2. Can you even see this? Nah, that's fine. Maybe I'll just share. I guess share on the screen. Better. No, that's okay. So then turn 3, we got 3 lands. We just tap everything, right? Because if we got 4 time counters, it's going to give us 2. If we tap 1, you got 3 lands. Yeah, so we just tap everything to give us plus 4. So we're at 8 time counters by turn 3. Turn 4, we got 3 lands. So we're going to tap 2 of them. Or no, turn 4, we got 4 lands. So we're going to tap 2 of them to go up to 10. And then we tap the rest to times 2 to get to 20. And that puts us at turn 4, we've got 20. Turn 5, we got 5 lands. We tap plus 3, 23, times 2, 46. So we are at 46 on turn 5. And then turn 6, we can tap 4 lands to bring us to 50. This is assuming we don't want to play anything else. We're like this to add more tokens or something like that. But we get 50 with the plus 4. So 50 times 2, we're at 100 for turn 6. So we can get to 100 counters by turn 6. And then turn 7, we tap those. I mean, we're going to start doubling by turn 7. So 200 turn 7, 400 turn 8, 800 turn 9. So turn 10. It's a turn. It's if all you do is work on the Millennium calendar, then it's a turn 10 kill. Now, obviously, that's not going to win. They're going to beat you by turn 10. Games in before them, but it's just an interesting thought experiment. So by turn 10, they're dead. Maybe I'm just a meme lord, but is it really that bad and limited to play this on turn 1? And it's just a backup plan? You know, you especially in blue-white, where having an artifact in play can help you to make counters, make creatures and stuff. I mean, that's your game plan is just traditional Magic, beating them in a traditional way. But if the board state gets to a stalemate, it's not going to take as long as you might think to get to 1,000 counters when you're doubling every turn. So I would say, so in blue-white, I would actually call this a B+ card. Anything not blue-white, it's probably a C or C-. But it's a cool alternate win condition, and the flavor is awesome and on point. I mean, it's exactly what it is, right? You're doing your own thing, but the calendar's going to be, counting down while your own thing is happening. And yeah, you might go out in the hunt and die before it even happens, but it is inevitably going to happen. Now, obviously, this would never be played in Constructed, but I think if you made it indestructible, all of a sudden it's played in Constructed. And I think it fits with the theme. I wonder if they play tested this, tried to make it indestructible. I think indestructible would have been on point with the flavor, but maybe it would make it too busted. I think this is really cool. It's mythic, so you won't see it very often, but I actually do want to play this. But it being good has to be blue-white. And even then, I'm sure I might be just crazy. 3-fold Thunder Hulk, cost 7. Artifact creature gnome, rare. 3-fold Thunder Hulk enters the battlefield with 3+1/+1 counters on it. Whenever 3-fold Thunder Hulk enters the battlefield or attacks, create a number of 1/1 colorless gnome artifact creature tokens equal to its power. Pay 2, sacrifice another artifact, put a +1/+1 counter on 3-fold Thunder Hulk. Okay, obviously you don't want to sacrifice the Millennium Calendar, but this is an example of what I'm talking about. The Millennium Calendar can feed this. It doesn't, it can just be a backup plan for you. I mean, those gnome artifact creatures, I mean, this can contribute to building up the counters on the Millennium Calendar. 7 is a lot, though. 7's probably too much and making this bad. This does seem like a slow format, though. In blue-white, I think some of these artifacts are more playable, but ultimately 7 is way too much, and this is going to be probably like a C. I'd be okay. I'd personally be okay with playing it if it's like my only big thing on blue-white, but it's probably not good. It's probably just a C. And there's definitely commons and uncommons you take before it. Throne of the Grim Captain costs 2, tap, mill 2 cards, craft with a dinosaur. Mill 2 cards yourself? Probably. I don't think you can target an opponent. Craft with a dinosaur, a merfolk, a pirate, and a vampire. Interesting. Exile this artifact, exile the fort. It becomes a 7/7 Menace Trample lifelink hexproof. Whenever the Grim Captain attacks, each opponent sacrifices a non-land permanent. Then you may put an exiled creature card used to craft the Grim Captain onto the battlefield under your control, tapped and attacking. This is cool. Okay, this is super cool. But this is probably impossible. I mean, virtually impossible to craft this. Dinosaur, merfolk, pirate, and vampire. I mean, I would need to look at like each type of creature, but I think this is pushing you into at least 3 colors, right? Because let's see, green has dinosaur and merfolk, but I doubt there's any pirates. I don't think there's any vampires, so you need maybe black. So green, black for vampire. There might be black pirates, so you might be able to only do this in green, black. I think there's black pirates, so I guess this is a green, black card primarily. We could scroll up to black, double check that. There are some pirates, Goblin Rogue, Dinosaur, Vampire Knight, Vampire Cleric, Human Pirate. So there's a pirate, the greedy freebooter. So this is like green, blackish, but even then there's only one. I mean, yeah, I think you want to be like 3 colors. If you're hoping for this to work, you want to be 3 colors. And those 3 colors probably green, just for the dinosaur merfolk, and then black for vampire, and then maybe blue. So green, black, blue, I think is the best color combo for Throne of the Grim Captain. And that makes sense because those are descend cards or descend colors too. So I'd say in a green, black, blue deck, this is like a B plus because you get this out. It's devastating. I mean, hexproof. How do you deal with this? You just don't. You just die. So green, black, blue, you play it. B, it's a B in green, black, blue. I know people are going to just dismiss it as being impossible, but I think it might be more possible than you think. So I give it a B in green, black, blue. It's a D or an F in anything else. Treasure map costs 2, pay 1, scry 1. Put a landmark counter on treasure map. Then if there are 3 or more landmark counters on it, remove those counters, transform treasure map, and create 3 treasure tokens. Becomes a land, add 1, sacrifice a treasure, draw a card. It's pretty good. Helps you fix no matter what, right? With those treasure tokens. It comes late. The scrying helps fix. It's pretty good. I give it like a B minus. All right, and that's it for artifacts. So, like I kind of predicted, I think blue-white benefits most from all these artifacts. There's the interesting blue-green Throne of the Grim Captain. I'm very excited to meme away with the Millennium Calendar in at least one of my drafts. But overall, and Tarian Soul Cleaver, probably the best artifact out of all of them that I saw. Yeah, overall, I think it's very interesting, very exciting. So next up, we'll do lands, and then we'll be finished, and we'll be about a week away from drafting this set, and pre-releases are this weekend. So really looking forward to it. All right. Have a good one, everyone. See you next time.